Hello.
Hello.
How goes it, everyone? It is Wednesday. It's Hump Day. Halfway there. T. Schmidt, hello. Line Creative, what's up? How's everyone doing today? I'm not trying to project my voice too loud because Jen has a headache.
I'm okay
So I'm
over
trying
here
to
in the
be
corner.
a little less animated than
That's
normal.
why I'm dark. Can't handle the light on my face today.
Hope you guys are all having a good time. We are gonna paint Snake Lady. We're really close. We're at the finish line.
Are the scales done?
Pretty much, yeah.
They look done.
They
look great.
They look done to me.
Yeah, they look really good.
I think there's like maybe some spots where I could go back and do some stuff, but I gotta like repair this little bit here where I got a little bit of paint on there. I gotta do some scales on the side of this part of the snake there, but other than that, I gotta like refine the face on the snake a little bit more. Do the glazes on the blue.
What is the blue? What is that? Is it
These?
feathers?
They're feathers, yeah.
On the snake?
Yeah.
So it's like a flying snake?
Yeah, so Quetzalcoatl is like a flying snake. Yeah. It's like it's a Aztec Mesoamerican
Okay.
like deity.
But the wings are super close to its head and it's got a really long body. How does that work?
It's weird. Typically, the snake is proportionate in size when it's normal size.
Okay. Are we assuming that the snake, because we know that the snake is bigger in the middle because it's got something in there, could that have made it longer too? I don't know how snakes work. I try and avoid
Venti, what's up? Okay.
The wings are comically small for the size of the rest, but I'm sure magic is the answer.
I think what is happening is the snake is normally small or regular size,
right?
But it can grow bigger.
To
so it's in the process of either growing bigger or growing smaller.
Getting back, okay.
Yeah.
That
because like
sense.
all of this is relatively proportionate.
Uh-huh.
But as it goes up and behind, it gets really small.
Right.
So it wouldn't make sense for this to be just
well,
like this
and I
all
don't
the
think
time.
those tiny little wings could carry that
Most
big body.
Certainly not.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't. So this entire time of watching you paint this model,
you've been confused.
I've never really paid attention to the wings.
Oh yeah, they're very odd.
I knew they were there, but I've never really even thought about them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I'm seeing them today, and my brain is not working right.
I genuinely
I look at it.
I do think, and maybe this is just my headcanon, but I think that like the snake, in an effort to protect the like priestess or whatever, is like growing bigger so that it has more like surface area to like block stuff.
This is so much deeper than like my original interpretation of it visually.
Normally, I would go through all of this
because I'm very literal
time.
and like, okay, there's a snake and yeah.
Yeah, normally I would go through all of this ahead of time so I could like think
about it, right?
Like a concept in my head and a story, and then I would paint that onto the miniature.
Yeah.
Which is the thing that you should do if you're painting like stuff like this. It's such a great way to like get information. It's a great way to like get ideas for things.
For sure. I mean, because it's visually already telling a story.
Yeah, but that story can be a little ambiguous, right?
Exactly.
So being able to have that flexibility to create your own narrative within the realm of the physical representation of the miniature.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is everybody's representation will be different.
Right.
Like somebody might not have thought about that, so they would think about something different, right?
Yeah. Which is the great thing about art.
Mm-hmm. Or they would like, so if I were to think about this from scratch, right? If I were to do it again, I might do something like at nighttime, and it's like during the time of like I forget the name of their capital city, but the Aztecs had a capital city that ended up getting sacked.
Okay.
So my idea would be like paint this during the sacking of the like the main Aztec like city, and like the snake is protecting the priestess from like getting killed by all these like rampaging crazy people. So it'd be like fires and dark night sky and that sort of thing, sort of like that sort of environment. And then I'd be like, okay, cool, what would that look like?
Yeah.
And then that would impart all of my decision making on like what the snake would look like, how would it be illuminated, like what color is the environment going to be? Like, is this like stone? Like what, all of those things, right?
Yeah.
So that's like a cool way that you can think up interesting like concepts for your miniatures.
Well, especially in things like this where it's basically a standalone figure, right? It's not part of a game or anything like that that already has a story behind it. It gives each artist the ability to kind of come up with their own concept.
Yeah, and sometimes so the Mineworks typically does renditions of popular or well-known
that's
pieces
true.
of art.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, the pieces of art have their own story and history involved with them. So sometimes you can kind of like trace it back to that and see what the original inspiration was.
Yeah.
But they're just doing the same thing that I'm doing. They're just like starting without a miniature.
Yeah.
So they're just like starting from a raw concept and being like, okay, we want to do this. And then they think up all of the rest of the things and do that. And they just create that. Half of it is already done for me. But the cool part is being able to take somebody else's vision and put a different spin on it. Cool. Which is cool.
It's very cool.
Don't worry, everybody. Jason will be here shortly. He is finishing up with a meeting or a phone call or something. He mentioned to me that he will be running a little late today. Hello, Morning Tide. Hello, Venti, Wad Tomato, Punisher. What's up, guys? How are you all doing today? Are you enjoying your hump day so far? I am. It's a good day today.
Sacrifice, not gonna eat her. And this model is available monumenthobbies.com. If you're in the US or North America, we do work with Mindwork Games. Mindwork Studios.
Is out of Italy. So if you know that it is easier for you to get stuff from Italy than it is to get stuff from the US, go to Italy and buy direct from them. But if it's easier to get it from the US, we got you
from
covered.
Us. Before Jason gets there, can we hear some fun Jason stories, gaming or otherwise?
He went home.
Millions of
He
them.
played Noida. He died.
He did.
We left.
You left?
Wait, did he die last night? He probably died last night.
He wasn't happy last night. I went in and I'm like, did you beat him yet? He's like,
no.
So no.
Road trip to or from a con. He usually flies.
Yeah, this year he's flown everywhere except LVO. We drove to LVO because that's 4 hours. Yeah. But he flew to Adepticon, flew to Gen Con. We'll be flying to Nova.
We all
done
drive
with the road trips
to LVO, right?
Yeah,
there's no reason to fly.
No.
Although I can't imagine flights are that expensive though.
They're not expensive. Well, yeah, like $150 maybe, but it takes just as long. Because by the time, like going to the 4 hours, 4.5 hours maybe at the most on the outside, and by the time you get to the airport ahead of time, get on the plane, assuming there are no delays, it's like a 45-minute flight. And then you're there, you have to get off the plane, all that nonsense.
4 hour
at the airport
is really not that big of a deal.
To avoid 2 airports, I'd sit in a car for sure.
Yeah. Because the flight's what, an hour?
Like 45 minutes.
It's like 45 minutes? Okay. I mean, definitely faster to fly, but from...
I mean, if you figure an hour before...
Oh, that's true.
You get to the airport an hour before.
Yeah.
And that's, that's tight usually nowadays.
Yeah.
45 minutes
I'm
in the air.
usually 2 hours ahead of time, generally, for me.
So when you figure 2 hours ahead of time...
That's 2 hours and 45 minutes plus 45 minutes for boarding. You're basically
plus getting the airport, getting out of the airport in Vegas to your hotel and dealing with all that nonsense because it's always busy.
That's true. Jen, you got it right. 100%. It is just as fast, if not
being
faster.
As close as we are to Vegas, I've been there many times. And it comes out about even. Amusing pet peeves.
Amusing pet peeves. No singing, no dancing.
No singing, no dancing. He's a fun hater.
Is he like that at home?
Oh yeah. I mean, he's like that in no, I shouldn't say that. He sings to the dog and stuff like that, and he sings funny songs at home. He doesn't dance, but the singing definitely happens, and the silliness with the dog, and
The more he says it to me, the more I want to belt out in song.
You should.
He would hate it.
Yeah, he wouldn't. He would love it.
He would think it was funny.
when he says, I mean, he's not lying when he says that we go to restaurants and if there's a good song, I start to dance. And he says no dancing. This is a thing that we do. And I continue to dance because I say there is always dancing.
That's funny.
So
that's awesome.
No Monument Hobbies musical episode. Well, maybe from the rest of us, and he would just be the, you know, the long-suffering curmudgeon who doesn't like music.
Which is funny because he spent so much time in the music industry.
Right.
So odd. I mean, maybe that makes sense. I don't know. Hire Showtime singers for a roving Adepticon. No Monument Hobbies musical episode? Absolutely not. Not if he has anything to do with it.
So I guess a fun Jason story is the stuff about his music career, and the picture I found of him in a 90s hip-hop group. I showed Paul yesterday.
You showed Paul?
I showed Paul that picture yesterday.
Oh my gosh. What did Paul say?
He's like, what? That's you? Paul was like, what is this? He did, yes.
Paul is such a goober.
He built recording studios, because he went to school for like sound engineering or something like that. He was telling Paul about it yesterday, so it's all fresh.
During the
our lunch, and he
I want one of those, by the way.
We owe you, and I was supposed to schedule.
You don't owe me one.
No, we do.
I would like to have.
No, we do. We do. We need to. That's what we do. But I don't know how we missed yours. But we will. I was supposed to get it on the calendar. I'll get it on the calendar today.
You're good.
But yeah, he. I forgot what I was saying.
You were talking about him at school.
Oh yeah, he was talking about how one of his professors was building recording studios, and that's how Jason got into it, because he saw his potential. He's like, you're a really good student, I think you could get this. You also have kind of a business sense, so yeah, that's how he started that. And
that's really interesting to hear that he had that business sense from the get-go.
Yeah, I think he's always been
which makes sense, because I mean, he is very
very much so
oriented.
Yeah
in a good way.
Understanding it to be able to gives you the freedom to work for yourself, and he's pretty much worked for himself his entire adult life, so
yeah, that's great.
Airlines have really done everything they can to make the flying experience as miserable as possible.
They definitely don't make it easy or comfortable for the most part.
And I know it's a very small percentage, but the internet would make you think that people are losing their minds on airplanes all the time, having nervous breakdowns. And
I don't know. I will tell you though,
getting kicked off planes. And
that first class experience was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's hard to go back.
I unironically will probably look at most flights that we take and be like, hey Jen, can I upgrade?
Yeah, it's
if it's reasonable, because I'm like, that is worth the price of admission.
It's a treat. When I was traveling a lot for work, I flew so often that they would they would send me the email, not hey, do you want to upgrade? It's hey, we upgraded you. Wow, and here's your new boarding pass. And yes, it was fantastic. And then there were times also, because I flew so often, where I could go to the airport a little earlier and say, hey, you got any first class spots open? Can you upgrade me? Yeah. So anytime I was flying from the East Coast home, I always did whatever I could to get first class.
Yeah, it's
because coming from the East, coming home, it's a long day.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's
I think most of us do. Many of us can keep our nervous breakdowns and freakouts on the inside when flying.
Oh, God, I just got so used to it from such a young age. Because I flew a lot.
Did you?
Yeah. My dad worked for Alitalia in San Francisco. I think he was like head of operations or something like that. For like all of Alitalia in San Francisco. So as a result, he took a lot of business trips to Italy. Oh, yeah. And he took me along on a lot of them.
That's awesome.
So I've been to Italy like 4 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So, granted, I was young enough that I couldn't truly appreciate the experience, nor remember it particularly well. I remember a lot of it, but not as much as I would like. And I mean, we're talking about like my first trip was when I was like 2.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then I was like 4 and 8, something like that.
Yeah.
So maybe I've only been 3 times, but I remember the more recent one. And it was a great experience. Yeah. I remember being in Milan and it being like pouring down thunderstorms.
Oh really?
Yeah. So I never really got to experience any of Milan. We got to experience a little bit of Rome, which is cool, and I've been to Venice. But there's a lot of other parts of Italy that I would love to go visit now that I'm older and have more like to go to Tuscany.
Yeah.
Love to go a lot of the smaller towns, right? The big towns are cool, but the architecture and the history is really neat. But like those are the parts of the trips that I remember.
Yeah.
Like I remember going to the Vatican. I remember seeing all this stuff.
Yeah.
And
it's
while
like those
I would
are
like
the things you don't have to go again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. And my mom worked for a cruise line.
Oh.
So
you've been on a bunch of cruises.
I've been on a bunch of cruises too. Yeah. So like I said, I was a well-traveled young lad.
That's
and they would like send me up to Seattle to go visit my grandmother.
Yeah.
So I'd fly alone all the time when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And this was like way back before 9/11, so you could like
walk to the gate.
My parents could like walk me to the gate and stuff like that.
Yeah. He is a child of the world.
Yeah, which was really cool. And I mean, I've been all over the place. I've been to Croatia, I've been to France, I've been to Switzerland, I've been to Germany, I've been to Spain, I've been to all over Italy. Yeah. I've been all over the place. Never been to the UK.
I haven't either.
Which is a stop that I would like to make.
Me too.
I'd love to go to Asia. That's like my big one.
See, I don't have
much of an interest where in Asia. All of it. I want to see all of it. I just really love the cuisine a lot.
Yeah.
Like, from everywhere over there, and also I'm a big fan of a lot of the like culture.
Yeah.
So, because I'm a nerd like that. So.
Yeah, I don't have a huge interest in Asia.
That's the really funny thing too. So. As a kid, and it's funny because you're a teacher. As a kid, when I was growing up, I hated history. Yeah. I just was like, why am I learning this? Yeah. This is so boring. And now I'm like, man, history is really cool. I have so much more interest in all of this like historical stuff and stuff now, which is like, man, why don't they teach that to you when you're older and can appreciate it?
Well, and I think the approach to teaching history is flawed.
How so?
Well, in that it's a lot of memorization of things, and my original plan was to be a history teacher. Oh, because I have a degree. I have a degree in history.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, my degree is in history, and then I went and got teaching certification after that.
History degrees that you get, are they generalistic?
Yeah, it's just a Bachelor of Arts.
Okay.
Like a liberal arts degree, basically. I don't know that there's much you can do with a history degree other than teach history or maybe like work at a museum or something.
Yeah.
But my goal was always to teach. But I had some fun in college, you could say. And so my first year,
right on.
Yeah, my first year of college was a bit of a bust. And ASU has a great education college, and they're very selective. And so because of my fun, I had a very low GPA and did not get into the College of Education. So I had to shift my plan, went for the bachelor's in history with the plan of following up with the teacher certification program. So that's what I did. Okay. So I knew I wanted to teach, and my plan was to teach history. And my student teaching, when I was interning, I was at a middle school and I was under the history teacher. So I got to my student teaching, I taught history.
Okay.
For like 7th grade.
Cool.
And it was super fun, and I fell in love with it because of the storytelling aspect, and the students enjoyed it because it was like listening to a story.
Yeah,
you know, and we just talked and we listened. You know, we would watch movies and look at art, and but just the storytelling aspect of it made it much more interesting to them, and it made it easier to remember.
Yeah.
Because all they had to do was remember the plot, basically.
Right.
You know.
Right. Exactly.
So.
Well, and if you're interested in the thing, you will remember more about it because you care more about it.
Correct.
And you think about it more.
Yeah. And with teaching too, a lot of it is just selling the subjects to your kids. You
That's
know,
true.
Like how do you present it
in
an interesting way for them?
Yeah, a lot of that is definitely on the teacher, for sure.
Yeah, because then when I actually got my teaching job in middle school, they didn't have a history position open. I minored in English, so I taught English. But the history classroom was across the hall from me, and there were multiple history teachers, but there was one right across the hall from me who was amazing, and she had the same kind of approach I did. She made it like a story, and the kids loved it.
That's awesome.
So I really think that, you know, instead of just the rote memorization of all the dates and the names, tell them the story of everything, and it makes it much easier. So
the whys and the hows and all that stuff. Yeah, because like I said, I didn't really have an appreciation for it until probably like 4 or 5 years ago maybe, and it just kind of like I got a lot of my friends in Seattle who I met through gaming were also like big history nerds. So they were like really into like World War II board games and like crunchy, weird like historical games and stuff like that. So like they'd be like, "Hey, you want to play this?" So I was like, "I don't know anything about this," and they're like, "Well, we'll tell you." Yeah. And so they would like give me this information. I'd be like, "Oh, this is really interesting."
Cool. Yeah.
And so I grew like a really interesting appreciation for it, and I think this is probably why I didn't have the appreciation for like traveling that I did as a kid, is because I didn't care about history.
Right, you didn't know the stuff that happened there.
Yeah, I know about the background and I know about the history of these places, and it's much more impactful to me as a person now than it used to be, which is very cool. Also, I'm older, so I can go to cooler places, and I don't have to be like bound by what my parents want to do.
Yeah, the first time I went to Europe, I was like, I was in awe of the architecture and the thought that, okay, I'm standing in a place that has been here for hundreds and hundreds of years. Not like, Arizona is new. Like Arizona is a baby compared to...
the United States is only like 200 years old.
Compared to the rest of the world,
So you think about that, you're like...
very cool.
Almost everywhere that you are stepping is older than the entirety of the United States.
Exactly.
In Europe.
Yeah.
And to a larger extent, even older for the rest of the world. Yeah. Right? Like, you go to places in, like, Asia and, like, India and like, places around there, like... Like, Middle East, too, to very much an extent, is all, like, that stuff is ancient. Yeah. Right? Which is very interesting. So, it's cool.
It was fun to drink in a bar in London older than the U.S. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the thing. You go into a building that's, 1,000 years old, and pretty crazy.
Death Spawn. Haha, scale jail nerd. We're not really stuck in scale jail anymore. We're almost done, to be honest. It's really pretty much there. It's like the rest of the metal, the like loincloth bit here and on her butt and down here. Tune up the rocks a little bit to make it a little bit more finished and complete. Do the arrows, which I'm working on right now. Glaze the feathers back down. Do a little bit more work on the face on the snake, and then we're pretty much done.
One plus saves. I just got my newest order. I have to extra shout out Dark Magenta. Finally captured the pink energy. I've been trying all sorts of things to find. It's so good. Awesome.
It's amazing.
Slamu said, when you're airbrushing Pro Acryl paints, do you guys have a recommended ratio of paint to thinner for both bases and glazes?
So generally speaking, we don't thin our paints at all. For applying base coats and most blending. When we're talking about glazes, it's kind of another thing, right? Obviously, you want to thin down your paints a bunch when you're trying to do that. I try to use, like, as a starting point, like 5 times medium to paint for like for our glaze and wash medium. This stuff. So I'll use like 4 or 5 parts glaze and wash medium to 1 part paint, and then add water to the appropriate consistency that I'm looking for. Because I don't want to over thin the paint itself to get the right consistency. I want it to be transparent, and adding more glaze and wash medium will get me to the level of transparency that I'm looking for without having to over thin my paint. Like Jason was talking about yesterday, there's 2 ways you can thin your paint, right? You can thin it for transparency, or you can thin it for viscosity. And you want to do both to an extent when you're doing glazes, but you don't need it to be as so to get the level of transparency that you need out of paint, you have a tendency to over thin the viscosity of your paint. Adding medium gives you more volume to work with paint, while or it retains the same viscosity while adding transparency, or making your paint more transparent. So I hope that makes sense. We did a whole like half-hour segment on it yesterday where Jason went through and talked about glazes and how to mix everything. So you check out the VOD from yesterday on YouTube. That'll be a great one. Why, thank you, Slamu. Thank you for your question. We are more than happy to answer. There's a question for Jen in here.
What?
Yeah, Desmon's asking you a question.
Oh, I don't have Discord right now.
Womp, womp, womp. I don't know what colors I want to do the fletchings on here. I might just do like a regular, like, feathery. Taking some yellow oxide here to put a base coat on these feathers here. I'm gonna bring it up to ivory. Let's see here. So we're just doing these little lines. Here, I can probably zoom this in actually. Y'all can see better. Boop, 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 boop. We do the little texture lines. We're gonna do it on the back side as well. You guys definitely can't see this, so bear with me for a second. These angles are actually the worst. Part of me just wants to take these things off. I'm not sure that the arrows actually add much to the model. What do you think, Jen? Should we do away with the silly arrows?
Do away with the arrows?
Yeah, just get rid of
them.
Like
take them off?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know. Why?
I don't know, just because they feel kind of weird.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. Like, the snake is not damaged in any other way. Like, doesn't have, like, scratches on it from being attacked or anything.
Yeah.
Like that. It just has, like, 2 random arrows in it.
Yeah.
Just, it has always felt kind of weird to me. Not to mention it's got a pretty good chance of them falling off anyways.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Tim says leave them.
All right. Well, they're gonna fall off when they go to.
But I feel like they'll need some kind. They need some kind of like something on the skin around them to show that it's
like
injured.
A blood effect,
like
something.
red or.
Snakes bleed, right? That's a stupid question.
That's what I was just thinking as I said that. I'm like, I don't know if that would happen though.
I'm pretty sure snakes have blood. They're cold-blooded, so they should have blood. Is it red? Jen, the internet must know.
The internet's gotta know. Definitely some irritation in blood. It is. Okay. Beth Spawn said, okay, then the colors in the range for between you and Baby J. They are painted mostly royal, and this is the loincloth on purple marine. Painted mostly royal purple with a jade over the aquilus, and the plasma will be bright yellow. I can't think of a good other color.
Okay, so here, let's okay.
So
colors in the range. They're painted mostly purple with a jade over the aquillas.
What is an aquila?
It's the here.
Oh, you know what? I have it on my phone.
Oh,
my phone is sitting right here.
I can also just show.
Okay.
So this part right here, the feathery skull thing.
Oh yeah.
Is an aquila.
Okay, so that's jade. So it's basically this purple.
Yes.
That part is jade, and we're trying to figure out the loincloth. It's going to be a little less warm.
Because this is like plum and magenta.
Right, so it's more like the bluey purple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because our royal purple is this.
Oh yeah. Okay. So and so yours is more of the plum.
Yeah. So it's more in the cold.
Yeah.
Right, because that teal or the jade is going to be cold as well.
I was going to say gold, but that would look like the Lakers, I think.
So you got mostly royal purple with jade over the aquillas, and the plasma is going to be bright yellow. You cannot think of a good other color. I would do blue. Like a royal blue.
Trying to find the... Oh, here it is. Here, maybe?
Yeah, I would do like a royal blue, and then what I would do is I would add like a touch of orange warmth to the glow.
I mean, this picture makes it look very plum, like yours.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The jade looks really good with it.
Where is it? Where in the Discord is it?
It's in work in progress. Well, and that one looks pink.
Let me pull this up.
Is one of them pink?
Work in progress.
Am I looking at the right ones?
Work in progress.
Yes.
We shall progress the work.
It's a post from yesterday is what I'm looking at.
Okay. I'm looking for it, guys. We're looking for it. Good old Death Spawn. Death Spawn. Death Spawn. Went too far. You said it was yesterday in work in progress?
11:18 p.m.
11:18 p.m. Aha! I seen it! Okay, so we got... this.
Yeah.
So I think the reason that it looks so magenta-y is probably the highlights and maybe the lighting. Oh, that one just straight up looks like
right.
pink.
That's what I said. I was like, there's one that looks pink.
Yeah, so like.
So it might just be the picture right in there
for these knuckleheads. Oh, you also did the hair and blue.
They should all be the same color, he said.
Should all be the same color. Well,
that one looks real pink.
These two look like they're very different.
They look
colors.
very different. Is that pink one part of the same? It looks real pink.
They look very different. Because like this is what I was expecting color-wise.
Mm-hmm.
That down there. So I would do the cloth in like either black or like a deep like Payne's gray or a dark blue of some kind.
Yeah, like dark gray blue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dark gray blue with jade.
Maybe. But I think it should be dark, generally speaking.
Yeah, I think Payne's gray would be cool.
Yeah, that you see it in the photo, they look yeah, they look totally different. So yeah, I would do like Payne's gray or black or black or blue black.
Blue black.
Yeah. You could also do gray if you want to. Gray would also look alright. But those would be my recommendations. We need some heavy warm white. Itty bitty brush. Deadbeat Artist subscribed with a tier 1.
Oh,
25 months.
Did not get an alert about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, hi, Tim. Payne's gray is actually darker than blue black, by the way.
It doesn't sound like it would be.
I think it is. That or they're very close. Yeah, no, Payne's gray is darker. Ooh. Should be the other way around. The other way around. Okay. More feathers. Let's finish the feathers. Let's do it. We can do it. We're getting the little fletchings done here. These things are actually a huge pain in the butt to paint. God, I hate the way that these arrows look.
Well, if you don't like them, you should take them off.
The
it doesn't fit in your vision of the overall thing.
Yeah, but they're like kind of sculpted to be there. Like there's holes in the snake for them.
Yeah.
So I'd have to like patch it up and then paint over it again. Sounds like a pain in the butt. I just don't want to spend an hour on these freaking these stupid arrows. It sounds like the worst thing I could possibly be doing with my...
Tim said, I think they'll fit better when you make the wounds look like wounds. Yeah, I think that's definitely something missing. Is that they are just kind of sticking in there.
Yeah.
Despana said, okay, well, forget what I said. That was obviously a test and you passed. Deadbeat Artist is rearranging his work area, cleaning out all the hobby drawers. So much stuff I don't use anymore. Oh my gosh. It's going to feel so good to have it gone and to start fresh.
Every time I come into work and I clean up my desk in here, it feels so good.
Yeah.
It's literally like one of the best experiences.
Yeah.
Just getting it all, squared away and cleaned up and organized.
Office is quick to become a disaster. Like I'll
seen
turn around
mine?
and be like, oh my God, there's stuff everywhere.
Mine is so bad.
And I somehow all the cardboard ends up in my office. And
Wait, why?
yesterday I went and I like consolidated it all into one big box, and just that made it feel better.
Why do you have all the cardboard in your
Well,
office? That doesn't sound right.
Things that, not all the cardboard, but like things that we've had
like deliveries and stuff.
returns. Yeah, there have been a couple returns of things. Just stuff that we've ordered that comes to me, and then I open it up and distribute it out, and then the box sits in my office for a week. I'm really bad about that. I'm much better about getting rid of boxes at home because I don't like them sitting around.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Purging feels good. Yeah, it does. Oh, I don't know. Nobody put them on my desk today, like while we were gone or anything, but maybe if you can go check in over in my office or ask Phil or Christian if we got an Amazon delivery, Gabe.
Oh yeah, because we got new wireless keyboards and stuff, right?
The wireless keyboards, we just needed batteries for them, so I had to order them because I didn't think about batteries when I bought the wireless stuff.
Well, usually they come with them. Did they not come with batteries?
Oh, I don't know. Did they come with batteries, Gabe?
Gabe. I don't think
we've
I've
had,
ever bought a wireless thing that didn't come with batteries.
We actually have had one return of a go bag, 2 returns of a go bag, but pretty much that's it. And we don't have very many returns.
We don't,
a couple of them have been packages that have gotten returned because the address was bad, and so if the people don't respond back, then we refund the order, and then it sits in my office. So it's more often that it's been a returned shipment because of the address. But we do also have things like, oh hey, I bought a set and it had the wrong paint in it or something, so we swap it.
Why would they return a go bag?
They had reasons. Oh, it does say the batteries were delivered and signed by Philip. So.
Oh yes,
Gabe,
Philip. Philip has come to our aid.
Go talk to that guy.
Hipster Gumby, you were being drafted.
One returned because they said it just didn't work for their setup. I don't know if it was too big or what. And then the other one was because of the off-gassing, which was strange.
Oh, right.
Because it really... But, people are sensitive to stuff like that. I get it. When we first got them, we were all walking around here like
new bag smell.
we all looked like we were high because the smell was just everywhere.
Oh, really?
When we first got them,
yeah. The bags?
Oh, that's right. You weren't here.
No.
Yeah, because we didn't have anywhere to put them, so they were just stacked throughout the building in random places.
The bags were, or the boxes of the bags?
The boxes of bags.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like the cardboard would protect against that somewhat.
The first round, this one that we have now,
is
not this.
Not as much of a problem.
Didn't notice it at all.
We have
Maybe
a
we're all
hipster
just
Gumby.
used to it.
Did they not come with batteries in the box? Yeah?
Did not. Dustbun, Canada is going to be a minute. The shipment may have hit the distributor, and then the distributor has to get it out to the stores. So that's always going to be the case with international customs. We don't have any control over that kind of stuff.
Takes time, folks.
Yeah.
It takes time. Cannot rush perfection.
Morning Tide, that's awesome. Thank you. We will pass that compliment on to the fulfillment team. They do a great job.
Except for that Jacob guy. What a lazy man.
Who?
Just Jacob.
Who was it?
I said Jacob.
Oh.
Except for that Jacob guy.
Well, he is responsible for the Canadian stuff. No, it went out more than a week ago, I think.
Yeah, no.
So
I'm just poking fun at Jacob. It's fun to do so.
Yes.
He takes it well. He gives it back in return.
Which is funny to me because he's so typically very quiet.
Jacob is not a quiet person.
I know. How was your thing last night?
It was fantastic.
Your trek out to the middle of nowhere.
It was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
100%. It was like I drove half an hour to Paul's house, which is in the middle of nowhere.
Which is crazy to me because I didn't realize. I mean, I knew he told us like the general area.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem.
It was with traffic.
That far. Oh, okay.
So my drive home was only about 22 minutes. So it's not.
Oh, coming back. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But the drive from his house to our other friend's house was like half an hour. So it's like on the other side of Surprise.
Wow.
It's
That's
like
crazy.
deep out there. So, but it was a fantastic trip. We had a great time.
Good.
It was super good. And the food was amazing.
And what was it again? It was a party or
so
a game thing?
I don't know if there was really a whole reason. I think so. We have a friend whose name's Tomo or Tom. He's Chinese. He says like call me Tomo. So
okay.
But anyways, I think he doesn't get a chance to see us as often because he lives so far out. So he's just like, I just want to throw get-togethers.
So just come over
have
and
everybody,
hang out.
have everybody come out. And so he was just like, everybody should come out. We could play Lucana, you can play Digimon, and we'll like throw some music on. And he cooked up amazing fried chicken.
Cool.
Like he had 2 different marinades that he had set up for it. He had like 3 different sauces that he was. Oh, it was amazing. It was so good. Paul was so sad that he didn't get to take any home last night.
Oh.
Because we ate it all before he left.
It was all gone.
Yeah, it was really, really good. He had this like really, really wonderful like a spicy Asian sauce.
Yum.
Which was like gochujang, honey, soy sauce, ketchup.
Oh wow.
And like one other thing that I forget off the top of my head. But it was super good.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Oh, it was brown sugar.
Okay.
Was the other thing that he put in there, and he just like brought it all to a boil on in a pan and would toss all the wings in it.
Oh, sounds good.
And it was super awesome. It was great. We had a really good time.
Good.
So
good. Worth the trip.
Oh, 100%. And I would. That guy's a fantastic cook.
Nice.
So anytime he's cooking food, I'm in.
Like I'll be there.
Yeah. It made me want to cook.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. You know the person's food cooking is good when they're like, ooh, now I want to go home and cook some good food.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely makes me want to make. I've been wanting to make Japanese curry for a while because it's like one of my favorite things. So like Japanese curry katsu, with like some pork cutlets or chicken. Either one works. Have you ever had Japanese curry?
No.
Oh, it's super good. It's so good.
Well, when you make some and bring some in.
I will bring some in.
Okay.
Yeah. So you could try it. It's hard to describe. You've had Thai curry, I'm assuming. So imagine a more savory and not sweet version.
Okay.
So no coconut milk.
Yeah.
It's like a really hearty.
Yeah, the Thai stuff can get a little sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Yeah.
I like sweeter curries. But this curry in particular, it's almost like a stew. So if you imagine like a stew with like a traditional like USA like stick it in a crock pot stew, right?
Beef and vegetables.
And stuff like that. But instead of beef, I think it's a beef base, but it's like the curry profile that you would get from like a Thai curry without the sweetness, but with like potatoes and carrots and all that stuff in it. It's heartier. You put it over rice, and you typically will have it with some sort of protein of some kind. You can do chicken, you can do pork, you can do any of that stuff. I really like it with like pork, like deep fried pork cutlets or katsu. Something about the crunchy with the curry is super good. So it's one of my favorite things. And
sounds good.
It's super easy to make too. So
very good.
Because I just make the curry base. So you just like buy boxes of the curry base and you just like make the stew with the curry, with all the vegetables and stuff in it, and then you just like make pork katsu or chicken katsu. And it's super easy. So that's the next thing I want to do.
Jason is in a meeting. Yes. And Jordan, do you have a size 3 and a size 2?
I think I do. Okay. I have that's a bomb wick. That's also. I have some older brushes here. Are the sizes roughly the same?
They should be about the same.
Okay. So.
Yeah, ours are going to be a little different than like a Winsor and Newton, and I can't remember which direction. I think ours are smaller.
Ours are larger.
A larger? Yeah. Okay.
Whoop.
Well, he's saying I think that my size 2, your size 3 is closer to my size 2.
So this is a size 3. Oh, maybe Winsor and Newtons are bigger.
Wait, so you've got a 3 and a 4 in your hand right now?
So this is a 2. This is a 3, and then this is a 4 right here. So 2, 3, 4. And a Winsor Newton is like somewhere in between the 2 and the 3 for a size 1.
For a 1?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, it is. It's somewhere in between on the size scaling. It's been a while since I've used one because I just use our brushes now.
It's been a really long time since I've had to talk about comparing them to another brand, because I used to remember.
Yeah, because I mean I used to use Winsor Newtons all the time.
They seem like they kind of are, right? It sounds like ours aren't size standards non-existent like dresses. There's no
yeah, I think
a size 6 dress in one brand is different than another.
Oh,
even in women's clothing. Yeah.
Are they different?
Yeah.
Oh. Well.
Yeah. It varies dramatically.
It's also kind of like shoe size too, right? Like,
well, shoes I think are a little more consistent.
Well, I mean, I can buy an 11 so I'm like a 12, like an 11.5 to a 12, but like wide. So I'll buy 2 pairs of 12s, or I'll try on 2 pairs of 12s.
And they feel
one
different.
will fit really good and one will not fit at all.
I guess so, yeah.
Or one will be huge and the other one will be super small.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I would say our sizing is pretty similar to Raphael's in my experience. Obviously, they don't make our brushes, but the sizing is pretty comparable. The other thing I've noticed about like Winsor Newton brushes is their the length of the brush itself, not like the whole handle, but like the brush tip.
Yeah.
Is shorter than a lot of the others. Raphael's and Da Vinci's tend to be a little bit longer. And I tend to prefer shorter. Ours is like kind of in between. Mm-hmm. Like we have like our 2 is what I like a little bit longer than I would typically expect. Mm-hmm. Or I'm sorry, our 3s and 4s are a little bit longer than I would expect, but the 2 is a little shorter. So, Tim, depending on the brand, I'm anywhere between an 8.5 and a 10.5. Yeah, it's crazy. Shoes are awful. What's up, Drewski 40K? Hello, friends.
Hi, friends.
But yeah, our brushes are fantastic. I'm excited for us to get some more in stock so I can get some new ones.
Which size do you use most?
Like a. It's weird. So, probably 2s or 3s. Mm-hmm. 3s probably most of the time. When I'm doing like really up close work, it's like 2s or 1s. If I'm doing eyes, it's 0s preferably. But it depends on the eye. I don't know. I'm really, really rough on my brushes, so they don't last as long. Mm-hmm. And the nice thing is, the smaller brushes work better as crappier brushes longer. The bigger brushes, because they have a bigger belly in the brush, don't tend to hold a point as well.
Right, they'll fray more.
Well, they fray
and they break around.
Yeah, they have a tendency to break about the same that the other brushes do, but because they have a bigger belly on the brush, so like the belly of the brush, right, is this part here in the middle, which is like the widest part. So they have a thicker belly than like your thinner brushes will, right? Mm-hmm. So this is a thinner brush. You can see that. So because these are thicker, as they spread out a little bit more, they don't come back to a point quite as easily. Whereas these are still, because they're thinner, mm-hmm. tend to stay more in a point even when they're not quite as nice quality. Or when they're not quite as fresh. So it's a weird answer, because if I have a brand new brush, like I'll use a 3 for everything. But as it wears down, the 2s for me, I have a better experience with when they're beat up than like 3s or 4s. Mm-hmm. So. Solo, no all over wash on your snake lady? Hell no. We're just going to say a big old No. We're not doing that on this model.
Yeah, there's some, I mean, like, I want to say it's James Wobble that uses like a size 8 on everything, I think.
Yeah. I mean, if you keep a brush in great shape.
Yeah.
You could.
Well, like, and he uses, I think he gets inexpensive ones and uses them and throws them and gets a new one.
Yes, he's big on using crappy brushes. Yeah. He'll just go to like Michael's and buy like a 50-pack of brushes and just run through them.
Yeah. But I remember every time people are like, "Oh my god, a size 6, that's so huge." I think of him because I'm pretty sure he uses
large brushes. Yeah. And he uses very cheap ones. Yeah. And he just buys them in bulk.
Yeah. He's not typical, I don't think.
No. And I mean, I paint a lot. Like, obviously I paint for a couple of hours every day, pretty much, except for the weekends. And I get 2 or 3 months out of a brush.
Yeah. How often do you clean them?
Not as often as Jen looks at me, she nods, she's like, never. And I'm like, God damn it. Yes, never. The next time we get
if you take care of them, they'll last you almost forever.
Yeah. This is a do as I say, not as I do sort of thing.
Jason doesn't clean his either, so it's okay.
Yeah. I think once we get new ones in, and I have an ability to like get myself like a fresh set of brushes, those all start like taking care of. Because the brush goop works really, really well. I'm still in the habit, because I haven't been here for that long.
Right? No.
I'm in the habit of having crappy brush soap. So and the brush soap never worked for me before. Yeah. So I would just be like, why would I ever do this? It doesn't do enough to like keep my brushes in shape. Mm-hmm. So why would I do it? Yeah. And I was just like, I paint well, and before too, I was painting 8 hours a day for painting, or like 6 to 8 hours a day even. And like that's a lot of wear and tear on a brush.
Yeah.
Definitely. So like going through a brush a month on 8 hours a day is like pretty normal.
Yeah, you'd expect that.
Because people will be like, "Oh, I've had my brush, in nice shape for years," and I'm like, "How often do you paint?"
Yeah.
Because I paint a lot.
Right. Yeah, that's your job. So, yeah.
All right. These are not looking quite as obnoxious as they were before. Not quite as obnoxious. Okay, did we get an answer on whether or not snakes bleed red blood?
Oh, I don't know if I didn't look. Anybody in chat know? Snake blood.
Sand. You could. It's just time and knowledge and practice.
Snake blood color. What color is snake blood? Snake blood is red, like nearly every other animal on Earth.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
The hue will vary depending on how long the blood has been, I don't know, out something.
Exposed to air?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Most mammal, fish, reptile, amphibian, and bird blood is red because of hemoglobin, whose protein is made of hemes, or iron-containing molecules that fuse with oxygen.
Got it.
There we go.
So as it's exposed to oxygen, it becomes more red-ish, I guess? I don't know. Whatever. It's red. It's all red. So, what I can do... this is a scary moment. Doing a little bit of trickling blood on this snake here. This is a little scary. We're using dark crimson because I don't know if you guys know, but this stuff makes for a pretty cool blood effect. And if you guys are nice and behave and don't eat the paint, I'll show you guys a little sneak peek of something. Because the other guy's not here. So, you guys might remember this guy.
Oh boy, what did he do?
He done killerized some things and got a little bloody.
Yeah.
So this is all dark crimson. So yes, yeah.
He needs to watch a little more Dateline so he knows how to clean all that up. That's pretty cool looking though.
Yeah, and I got some nice splatter on his face. And it's much more red in person. And well, maybe it's just the thing that I have. The monitor is a little weird. But yeah, so we're gonna do a little bit of this. On the snake. On the snake. You should have seen the oh, here. Funny. So I still have the white sheet from yesterday.
Uh-huh.
And it literally looks
it looks like someone got stabbed.
Look at this. Look at this blood splatter all over the sheet. I was like getting flashbacks of watching Dexter.
Yeah.
while I was doing it, I was just like, this is really funny. Alright. So we're gonna pull some of this dark crimson out. We're going to thin it out a little bit. And we're going to carefully
Tim, gotta open your mind a little bit.
Yeah, you can use it however you want, Tim. You don't have to use it as an effect paint. Turns out it's just like a really nice deep red color. But it is glossy, and it works well for stuff like this.
I mean, I thought it was pretty realistic looking.
On the troll?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just getting just around the edges of the The nice thing is this red like actually looks really nice against the scales, like that green.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks good.
I think that's gonna look great.
Yeah, I think that looks great. Boom. That's easy. Problem solved. Yeah, I'm liking the dark crimson for that sort of stuff. It definitely has like a really neat effect. And you can like build it up and put like thick layers of it on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can see the shine and the droplet on the edge of the.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a little volume I built up. Okay, so hair. That's the next step. We're gonna do the hair. Hair gonna be black.
She has hair?
She does have hair.
Like in the back?
Yeah, so there's actually a little bit here underneath, like this black.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Bit of volume down here is all hair.
Uh-huh.
Same thing here. And then if you look in the back.
That's all hair, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, we gotta paint the hair. And we're probably gonna do like a nice like bluish buildup of it. That will look nice. But we're gonna base coat it in coal black first. Just to make it easier. I don't know if Jason's gonna make it on stream today.
Maybe not.
I looked at the time, it's like 1:08.
Yeah.
Okay, he'll be back with a vengeance tomorrow.
The synthetics come in different sizes than the sables. So we have smaller ones in the synthetics. We have an X10 and a 00 in synthetic. And then it goes 1, 2, 4, 6. Whereas the sables are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got a 3 in sables that we don't have in synthetic, but the 2 smaller ones and the 1 larger in the synthetics.
So you know what I do have to admit, Jen?
What's that?
So even though I drove out into the middle of nowhere yesterday, that area is actually kind of nice.
Yeah. The outside of, like, once you get outside of Central Phoenix, into like the suburb areas.
Yeah.
They're newer usually.
Yeah, it felt it had that like southern like Mexican style like house construction that, or at least what I associate with that, whether that is or not, I don't know, like due to this area, but that's like the visual that I get. So all the like smooth stone archways and the like that kind of architecture, you see it a lot out there.
Yeah,
but it's like newer constructions that are just designed to have that kind of feel.
Yeah. Yeah, because the growth is not stopping. So as we run out of space, people just keep going further out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I mean, it would be great if somebody worked remote or something like that.
Yeah.
But man, I don't know if I could deal with that kind of commute again.
Yeah.
I've done it before, and I've had one like that for a very long time, and it's not really interested in making that commute.
I commuted from the East Valley, so like the opposite direction, to downtown for 5 years.
Yeah. How long was your commute?
So back then there was less traffic, fewer people, because that was a long time ago. That was early 2000s. Like 30-40 minutes probably. Not bad.
That's not too bad.
Not bad. Yeah. Now it would probably be twice as long.
Yeah.
Just because there's so many more people.
My commute, my last job when I was living in Tacoma was about an hour in the morning and an hour and 15 coming home.
I don't love that.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Sometimes you'd get lucky and it would be like 45 minutes home, or like you could even get it down to like 36 minutes home. If you were like super lucky and you were taking the carpool lane and everything. But it was a long drive.
Yeah.
And I had one even worse than that when I was living in I was living in Kent, and I was driving to Bellevue every day for work, because I worked on the Microsoft campus for a while, when I was with T-Mobile, because they have like a T-Mobile and a Verizon and a what's the other one?
AT&T.
AT&T, thank you. I don't know why that just fell out of my brain. Yeah, they had like little stores in the like lunch area.
That's right, because you worked at T-Mobile.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I worked there for like 2 years.
Yeah, a long time.
And that was a while ago. I mean, it was like 5 or 6 years ago. And man, that commute sucked. That was the commute where I literally just didn't go home until after traffic died.
Yeah.
I would go and I would hang out at there was a local game store, Mock Sporting House. You guys probably have heard of it, maybe. It's this like gigantic multi-million-dollar game store that's just freaking huge.
In Seattle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's in
Bellevue.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
It's not in Seattle proper,
right.
but it is in the Seattle.
And Bellevue is just outside, right?
So
of Seattle.
So if Seattle is here, if Seattle is here.
Yeah.
And the ocean is here. There's a big stretch of water that goes between, and then on the other side of that stretch of water is Bellevue.
Okay.
Like almost straight, like on latitude, just exactly the same.
Okay.
It's directly due east.
Okay.
And Bellevue is like Scottsdale.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
I've stayed there.
Yeah.
I stayed there once. So I did all of the, no, that's not true. All of the trainings I did that were, that's gonna be a lie. I did several trainings on islands in Washington. So like the San Juan Islands, Friday Harbor.
Yeah, Friday Harbor's awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Where I flew into Seattle and then I had to take a ferry.
Yep.
And one of the times I stayed in Bellevue, and that was exactly my thought. Was like, this kind of feels like Scottsdale.
Yeah, it's the way that I would compare them is it is a
little more upscale.
It's a little bit more upscale.
Yeah.
It's newer.
More residential.
It's more residential. Yeah. There's like 4 times the population.
Yeah.
And it has like a actual city.
Yeah.
Like it has a downtown.
Yeah.
Like it would be like downtown Phoenix, but it would be like downtown Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Right. But it would like big office buildings and everything like that. So yeah, it's a cool place. It's a great place to go. It sucks to live there because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that was the vibe I got.
Yeah,
was
it's
that it was
crazy.
Pretty expensive. I stayed at the coolest hotel. It was just this little kind of tucked in. It was in the big building.
Yeah.
But kind of between other things, and it was just like super modern and really cool.
Yeah.
And then so I went in, checked in, and then just walked around and found like a restaurant and stuff because I was in that kind of downtown area. It was really, really neat.
Yeah, I really like that downtown area a lot. And because I worked in Bellevue, I spent a lot of time, like, we would go down into like downtown Bellevue and we'd go to, restaurants and go see a movie or something afterwards.
Yeah.
Which was super cool. And I had some friends who like worked in a similar area, so we would just like all hang out there. And during off hours, like it only took like half an hour for me to drive to Bellevue, so it wasn't too bad when I wasn't sitting in traffic.
Exactly.
But I literally, my commute was going in the direction of the worst possible traffic, going through the second worst traffic area in Washington.
Yeah.
There's 2 that are really bad. The first one is the Fife Bend, which is the one that I most recently had to deal with. Which is just north of Tacoma, is Fife, and there's a huge stretch of freeway there that just gets super backed up. And then the second worst one is the Renton S-curves is what they call them. And it's like another stretch of windy road on the freeway where like two big freeways come together, and it's like a big populated area where a lot of people work, so a lot of people are coming and going. Mm-hmm. So it's like you get everybody's trying to go to this place, but also everybody's trying to like merge at the same time, and it's just horrible.
Yeah.
So driving through that sucked.
Yeah.
In fact, I never drove on the S-curves. I would drive through downtown Renton, go past the S-curves, and then get on the freeway.
Come back, yeah.
And it was faster.
Sometimes a roundabout way, or the surface streets is better.
Yeah, it's horrible. But yeah, Bellevue's cool. If you're in Seattle, go check out Bellevue. Bellevue Square Mall. Pretty cool. They have a fantastic movie theater there that I love going to. That's the one that I got the subscription for. I don't know if I told you that I have like a gajillion free movie tickets to this place. Because I forgot to cancel it during COVID.
Oh, no.
So I have like 18 free movie tickets. Oh, no.
But for a theater there.
Yeah, well, there is one in Arizona.
Oh,
It's in Mesa.
Okay.
It's Cinemark.
Okay, yeah.
So it's the one Cinemark that exists in Arizona that I've found.
I feel like that's in...
It's like pretty deep in Mesa. It's like half an hour away from here, yeah.
Okay, I was thinking it was at the, like near the Cubs.
It might be.
Park. I will Google and find out where that is. Oh, I think it is.
Yeah, it's probably where
Riverview,
you think it is, yeah.
I think.
But there was what they called a Cinemark Reserve in the like East Bellevue Tower. It was actually in the tower where the Pokemon Company has their headquarters in Bellevue. And so this one is like a bougie, like super bougie movie theater.
Yeah.
It's like more open seats, more space between seats. Everything's like a big, comfy recliner. Yeah. You can order booze. They have a menu.
What theater did you go to when you saw? Did you see Oppenheimer?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you didn't go. Okay.
I wanted to go, and then I got sidetracked with Lorcana stuff.
Okay. Because I was gonna say, if you go to like the Scottsdale Fashion Square Theater is super fancy like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and even the one right here, the closest one is on Camelback and 24th Street, and it's kind of fancy too. They have like a bar and they bring you food and.
Yeah, it's crazy because you could literally order food from your seat, and they would deliver it to you, and the food was like good.
Yeah, they do that.
It was awesome. So I loved going there, and it was like the cool thing is when they first started the program, the subscription was only $9 a month, but the tickets were like $18, and you get a free movie ticket for your $9.
Yeah,
and you could use it for that movie theater.
Yeah, and
you didn't have to pay any upcharge.
That's awesome.
Now you have to pay a little bit of an upcharge, but it's still cheaper than $18.
Right, than getting the ticket.
So it was one of those things I was like, wait, I can just do this?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, because it was like during all that time where all the Marvel movies were coming out, so like we would go see a movie once a month pretty regularly. So we would have a subscription and we'd go do that. Hi.
Wow, hi.
Hello.
I'm sitting on a comfy chair.
Well, the Cinemark is not far. I mean, it's far, but it's not far. It's freeway the whole way.
Yeah.
Like you can just jump on the freeway, the 51, and take the freeway the whole way to get down there. So
it's
still use your tickets. So that's good. The Oppenheimer, my friends went and saw it at the IMAX.
Oh, you want to throw the chair cam on?
Oh yeah.
No, I'm not important.
What do you mean?
You don't have to.
You have importance here too.
Don't have to do it for me.
We care about you, Jason.
No, you don't.
No, how I know that.
You know how I know you're lying?
How do you know that I'm lying?
Your lips are moving.
Do I need to write it on a note and deliver it to you? So you don't think I'm lying?
Or sign in to your Amazon account. How about no?
I
don't wanna.
Oh, it's because we normally have it on the sides.
Size 2 sable and size 2 synthetic, are they the same? The
Generally.
sable probably has a little bit more roundness to it, but they'll be pretty close other than that.
Sand commuting in and out of Tacoma sounds like the 4th level of hell. Yeah, that's because it is. It's pretty bad.
I think most cities.
This is particularly bad.
Well, I mean, I've driven in Seattle, so I definitely know how bad that is.
It's also the downside too is that that freeway had been under construction for 25 years, and they just finished it right before I moved. It was great. Well, welcome, Jason, to hang out and talk stream.
Trying to get the microphone to work.
I have driven in Connecticut.
Hello?
I've driven from Hartford to New Haven. And then
it really makes my eyes strain to read this chat.
Oh, you got the TV on?
It's okay. Hi, chat.
New Haven was where I had my very first snow day. I think we were talking about that the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Very first snow day.
Very first
I
time
knew you
I
then.
ever had a snow day. Yeah.
I knew you then. You were snowed in.
Yep.
To like your hotel. She was like driving in snow. She was like a super trooper.
They had my, well, I was a 2-day training and they canceled the first day because there was too much snow. And then the second day, I was talking about this, that I went out because I just sat in my hotel because I'm like, I'm not driving in the snow. And like if they're not sending the kids out in it, I'm not going out in it. And then the next day when I went to leave to go to the school, there was like a big pile of snow on the car and I had to scrape the windshield and I didn't have the right gloves and my hands almost, like my fingertips almost fell off. Yeah. That was all Connecticut.
Good old Connecticut.
Good old Connecticut.
Freezing people's fingers off.
The cool thing though was that driving from New Haven to the airport in Hartford, I went there multiple times. It was a big account, so I went there several times, including again in the spring. And so I stopped. There was a rest stop, and I stopped and took a picture when I was there in the wintertime because it was beautiful. It was this mountainside when you could see all these big trees, and it was gorgeous. And then I was back in the spring, and it looked totally different, and so that was kind of cool.
Connecticut's great. Don't listen to Tim.
We don't have seasons in Arizona, so things like that.
Tim doesn't like Connecticut because there's only one. Like if you're driving up as Connecticut as a like a bypass for the rest of New England, then you're on the 95 and it sucks.
Yeah.
But the rest of Connecticut I really liked because they don't have big roads.
Yeah.
And it's weird to say that, right? Because as a commuter, it sucks. But as a local, it's so good. Yeah, everything you need in Connecticut is on the post road, assuming you're in the New England. Well, I say the New England side. I guess technically it's all New England. But if you're on the East Coast side, everything you need is along the post road, Kings Highway, post road, and then that's where civilization occurs. It has a very old world feel to it, you know, because then you go in and you get like woodlands and all the stuff off the Merritt Parkway, which is beautiful but costs a fortune. We won't talk about like Hartford.
So I have a question for you, Jen.
Yeah.
As somebody who majored in history-related things in college, do you like to see and or watch historically based movies? Are you
yes.
a nerd of history?
Certain types. So I'm more into I find I guess more modern history. Well, that's not true either though, because I love the like Middle Ages, like medieval history is super cool to me.
Is that like your kind of preference when it comes to like?
U.S. is my preference. Like I really like U.S. history, U.S. wars, things like that are interesting.
Okay.
But second to that would be European Middle Ages, like medieval. Okay. That was where I did my student teaching when I really embraced the storytelling aspect of it, because it was. Cool. I mean, it was like that's like the perfect content to turn it into like sounding like a made up story.
Yeah, they
were just so crazy and
that's cool. It's always really interesting hearing people's like preferences on like what part of history they really enjoy, because it's always different.
Yeah.
What part of history do you enjoy? Yesterday. I enjoy yesterday.
I also enjoy yesterday.
I'm one of those people that doesn't give a damn about history. Is that wrong?
No.
Bad? Okay, that's not the way to say it, because if you say it like that, it feels like you don't care at all. And I'm not like, repeat the problems of the past kind of don't care. I'm just life is in the windshield, not the rear view. And so I look at history as a factual tale of occurrences, and it's neat, but I never get attached to it in a way where I care too much. Growing up in Texas, it was always about the Alamo, right?
Yeah.
And Texas history and things like that. And I was like, oh yeah, that's well and good. It's neat. And people are like, you should revere that. That's the reason we're here. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I get it. That's a truth, That's the reason we're here, But and?
but and?
And? What are you going to do with that information? Mm-hmm. I'm going to go look through the windshield and go do something cool tomorrow.
As a German, I'm not allowed to care about history, says Camel Triber.
Camel Triber, sure you are. You just have to apologize for it all the time, right?
Well, here's the thing. The first time I went to Germany, they wouldn't talk about Hitler's bunker.
Yeah.
But the second time I did, they'd had a sign and everything.
Yeah.
Like our tour guide was like, okay, so we know that this is where it was, and but they won't the city or whatever, I don't know, who makes that determination, but they wouldn't mark it, like they didn't want people to make it like a shrine.
Sure.
Yeah.
But then
what a double-edged sword, right? Yeah. Because you got to be very careful for all the fanatics that will cause it to
exactly.
Like, reverence to something like that, which
later,
is yeah. But
3 years later,
history is very important from a factual thing. I don't like the emotion tied to it, I guess is the way to say it. For exactly the reason you're talking about. It's like I want to know, like German history with regards to like the first 2 world wars is something that should be like the most spoken about, probably, right? What caused these things? What was happening socio-politically, the structure, the pressures on the people that made these things and events occur. That would be the logical way to do it, as opposed to pulling down statues and stuff like we do here.
Thank you, Siobhan, for that prime sub. No, yeah, Camel Driver, I know you said that you're not allowed to not care, like you have to care about history, right? But that's what I was saying, is that the first time I was there, which is 2006, it was like people didn't want to care about that part of the history.
Oh, and I see. Yeah, I see that I'm not allowed to not care.
To not care.
Okay.
Like you have different. To care.
That's a lot of
yeah.
What is it called?
Double negative.
Siobhan, wow, it's soon going to be 4 years of you guys digitally coveting my dog. We were talking about your dog today.
We were talking about our concern.
We were talking about our concern for your dog today.
Your poor little dog has got to have bad knees.
Yeah. Bubbo. It's cute as hell, but
skinny little legs.
I'm gonna send you the link to the
treadmill.
The treadmill we just got for Cora.
Have I ever shown you guys
small
pictures of my dog?
You have a dog?
Not here. Well, okay. I co-own a dog with my grandmother.
Does it look like Siobhan's dog?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's smaller than Siobhan's dog.
But bigger?
No, smaller.
No, but like we're talking about Siobhan's dog being very fat.
Well, Sasha's also kind of fat.
Is she portly?
A little.
Is she a good eater?
My grandmother definitely
spoils her.
Oh yeah.
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 You should have seen Cora on the treadmill last night. She's definitely picking up the speed. It got away from her once. She didn't know what to do.
She slipped around.
She did. She got a little panicked. The look on her face for a second was like, "Whoa, what's happening?
What's going on? What's going on?" But it didn't scare her. She just got right back up and kept going.
Yeah. I'm gonna post that video.
He's not fat. He's just fluffy. He's not fluffy, Siobhan. He's fat.
He is a short-haired dog.
He's a short-haired dog. There is no fluff on your floofer. Camel Tribe, you care a lot. In fact, I hate us getting involved in armed conflicts. Why are we not taking the Swiss stance? It's like we forget. Strong people, man. Strong-willed people.
Yeah.
It can be a cultural thing. It can be a timely thing. Due to pressures and societal pressures. That's the part of history that I've always enjoyed, that I do like, is the inner workings. It's the engineer side of me, though, right? It's the same reason I want to know how the vacuum cleaner works.
Yep.
Right? Is because I really want to know what led to those things.
It's like, how did these things happen?
Well, because you either want... I want to know how things work so that I can either recreate them or avoid them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Period.
Yeah.
That's just as simple as life is. Life is a simple sequence of decisions that I only can make properly if I have the proper knowledge, you know, attached to that decision-making process. So I go tear it apart. I go tear the fundamental conversation apart and find out what makes it tick. And then I try to brain it and critically think about it, and then come back around and deliver an answer.
Yep.
You know, it doesn't work real well in today's world where everybody wants like something super fast. Because I'm 53 and I'm not that fast anymore. I'm like, I need some time to think about this. There's Sonny
to process information.
I still am not old enough that I can make my S's whistle like the cartoon old guys, but I'm trying hard.
The Punisher's favorite period of history is 30 minutes ago because he had birthday cake.
Oh,
is it your birthday, Punisher? If it is, happy birthday. If not, if you just got to enjoy someone else's birthday cake, then it's a lucky day for you.
Well, tell that person happy birthday, and hopefully we can have a piece of their cake.
Yeah, can I have a piece of the cake?
We had a weird day today because we had Jabe's 60-day, actually 90-day review. It's supposed to be 90-day review. I don't know when it became 60-day, but that's probably my fault. But and we took him out to breakfast. So we had breakfast, which we never have breakfast.
Was it good?
Like restaurant breakfast during the week. It was okay. I got their breakfast wrap that was 2 scrambled eggs and chorizo. It was dry.
Oh,
bummer.
Very dry.
Well, that place that we went out to breakfast when I came to visit was really good.
Where did we go?
We went to
Snooze? No. Matt's Big Breakfast?
No. It was down closer to downtown.
I think we went to Matt's.
Did we?
Yeah.
It was like further towards downtown.
I would have thought Jordan only rated like IHOP or something. You sure it wasn't IHOP?
What?
No, it was when
what?
Where you were just visiting.
Oh no, it was.
Yeah, it was Matt's.
Was it Matt's or was it
I don't remember.
First Watch?
No, it wasn't First Watch. It was Matt's.
No, it was First Watch. It was the First Watch on Central, just here close.
No, that was Christian for his review.
Oh, maybe so. Matt's Big Breakfast. There's a good breakfast stuff, so for sure.
There's a lot of good breakfast places
It was good.
around.
I remember
Jade, what happened? All right, my friends, I have to sign off. Finally leaving work, but heading to a
sorry
funeral.
To hear that.
Sorry to hear that, Jade.
Sorry to hear that.
Hold it together. Chin up.
You got this.
I'm the kind of guy that says tell good jokes.
Tell good jokes.
That helps everybody at a funeral.
Share happy memories.
Find happy memories and good jokes that would remind everybody about the deceased.
Indeed.
Windshield, not rear view.
Windshield, not rear view.
Deadbeat artist said I like history when it's fun. So when I was in high school and they were teaching us the difference between how the French farmed potatoes in Canada and how the English farmed potatoes, I did not like history.
Yeah, that's not my kind of history either.
Yeah,
not my kind of history. That's what we were talking about earlier. It's like, why do you need to know that kind of stuff? That's the boring part.
It's like I'm not going to be a farmer necessarily.
Well, how do you know he wasn't at farmer school? He didn't say.
That's true. But I was also at some like city school in Seattle, and I learned that stuff. Read the room.
Yeah, history's, I mean, you got to have it, right? It happens. Mm-hmm. And we track it.
Yeah. Jen and I were talking a little bit about like...
That red feather crest is looking really good. I'm liking it.
Ah, thank you. Jen and I were talking a little bit about history earlier and how I never appreciated history as a young lad. But now I find history to be quite interesting. For many of the same reasons that you do, Jason.
I have a hard time with, I mean, I like history for the same reason that I watch Live PD and Dateline, because the realistic stuff is what's most interesting to me because of the way I like to look at people who are very different from me and try and figure out why they do the things
what makes
they
them
do.
tick.
Like, what makes those people run away from the police?
What makes you smoke crack and
why
run from the police?
You can get
Welcome
away?
to Live PD.
And it's just fascinating to me, and I want to talk to all of them. Did you guys see the other day? It might have been Monday that there was a guy on the freeway here, right over here on 16th Street and like the 202 or the 10 maybe.
16th and the 202.
Yeah, so coming into downtown, like right before
10.
you get to the tunnel,
Yeah,
and before
10.
you get to the 51.
Yep.
He was walking, so they have a big fence, one of those big curved fences on the pedestrian overpass.
Okay.
He was walking along the top of it.
Oh, he was on the outside of it.
Yes, on
Seems-
the top of it.
Seems good.
And they had to shut down the freeway.
Seems safe.
Yeah, and there's videos all over TikTok
Was
of
he
this
dancing
guy
or
running back and
something?
forth. Huh?
Was he dancing? Why did they have? How did they have time to shut down the thing's not that long? He could have made it all the way to the cross before they shut down the freeway.
I mean, here I'm gonna
Well,
get the video and I'm gonna
Was
show
he
you.
just hanging out on top?
I
Yeah,
think Jen
he was
saying
running
he
back
was,
and
like,
forth.
Running back and forth.
Running back
doing,
and forth.
doing some stupid stuff.
Yeah, being stupid.
Was he filming a TikTok video?
Probably.
He was not, but all the people that were sitting in their cars,
But everybody else
Were.
was.
stuck in traffic were.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
He was just on. He was hopped up on goofballs.
Yeah.
Man, I had one of those encounters with somebody doing something real stupid. So it was like 10 o'clock at night. I was driving back from Samurai, and it's like pitch black, and it's absolutely pouring down rain.
Mm-hmm.
So like I can't see the lines on the road at all. So I'm doing my best to like.
Welcome to when people will
Stay the course.
dressed in all black will walk right across Indian School Road.
Yep. So it was a guy who was walking
Yeah.
in the he you know how the people
The
will
turn
like,
lane.
Yeah, they'll walk into the turn lane and then wait.
Yeah.
This guy was standing in the turn lane. I literally did not see him until right as I almost hit the guy. Because he was standing like right at the edge of it, and I was on the inner lane because I turned left on 7th.
This is a funny
almost hit
video.
this
This
guy.
guy's just completely oblivious.
Yeah.
Or he's doing it on purpose. He's just walking back and forth on top. He's not running. He's walking back and forth on the top of. So the footbridge that goes across the highway is encased in chain link fence, so that you can't commit suicide by jumping off. Well, this guy says, "Screw you! I'm just going to walk on the top of it."
What is this guy doing?
Welcome to Phoenix, people.
There are
Welcome to any big
videos
city in the world,
of
probably.
this, and there are some of him running back and
How
forth.
funny.
He runs, and then he turns around and runs back.
He's getting his exercise. He's getting his steps in. He's closing his rings.
He's closing his ring.
Guy's closing his rings. He's doing the good work.
Crazy people.
They had but they had a food truck out that stopped in cars. And I think it was literally shut down for like an hour.
That's
Oh
silly.
my gosh. Gotta coax him off of the top of the thing.
They shut down the highways so that nobody has to have the traumatic response if he lands on your car.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's exactly it.
Yes.
They're not doing it for his sake.
No.
They're doing it for whoever sad sappy falls on their car.
Not always spouse killers.
The thing that
Sometimes
struck
it's
you when you
someone
were
else.
living in the U.S. was a severe lack of sidewalks?
Sidewalks.
Where did you live that didn't? Yeah, where were
we
you
have
that didn't have
sidewalks everywhere.
sidewalks? We have sidewalks literally everywhere.
There might not be as many places where people can walk everywhere, but we have sidewalks everywhere. But we do have
There are
we're
definitely
definitely
places that
not
don't have
as much of a
sidewalks.
pedestrian focused place as Europe.
Redlining through lack of sidewalks? What kind of nonsense are you even talking about?
What does redlining through lack of sidewalks mean?
Like, I think he means like separating portions of society out.
Oh.
That's not true. Sidewalks were more prevalent, I think. I mean, they're code, right, in every state that I know of until you get out into rural areas don't have to have sidewalks. A lot of places are only required to have sidewalks on one side of a street, but it's code to have.
Well, forcing people to drive when in the suburbs, but I mean, suburbs aren't meant to be walkable, I don't think.
Massachusetts, close to Rhode Island. Yeah, I would think that the entirety of the East Coast is the kingdom of sidewalks.
Yeah, for sure.
Literally, they're codes, so you have to have sidewalks everywhere, right? It doesn't mean that there aren't places like in Pennsylvania where buildings are right up on the street, which was always weird to me. As streets have been widened, sometimes sidewalks go away, but there'll be a sidewalk on one side or the other of the street. They may not have sidewalks on both sides, though. You probably have to cross a crosswalk to get to the sidewalk.
That is what I'm more familiar with.
They have sidewalks where you are and nobody uses them. That's the thing that I would say is that the reality is that there are more sidewalks than people ever walk on.
Yeah, I think
they're made for. I mean, like when we bought this building, we moved in. The first thing they did is they tore the street up right out front to redo all the sidewalks to make them more accessible for wheelchair bound people. And
to add a bike lane.
And to add a bike lane that is larger than the car lane.
Well, it's literally a whole nother lane.
It used to be
this road used to be 2 lanes each direction.
When we moved in, it was 2 lanes, and immediately they tore it up, and
now it's down to 1 lane each way.
Protected bike lane.
Yeah.
So it's got that big barrier.
Yeah.
I mean, not it's like paint, but
there is
a physical
an attorney
barrier, but it's meant to protect the bikes so that you don't drift in and hit the bikers.
Yeah, there is a.
But how often do we see people riding bikes? Almost never.
There's an attorney. Yeah, that nobody rides their bike up and down this way, and when they do, it's not people that know how to ride their bike. Yeah. They're going the wrong direction, and they're not in the bike lane. But no, there's an attorney that was that sued the city for what is it called? There's a People with Disabilities Act.
Yeah, Americans with Disabilities Act.
The ADA compliance thing for how sidewalks transition into driveways and the slope that's required.
Interesting.
And this is Old Town Phoenix. This is pre-ADA stuff.
Right.
And so the way that that's written is not that everything has to be brought up to code. It's only for new things being built in most situations. And so he sued to have it brought up to ADA code just on this strip of 3rd Street for some reason. Like, just it's like this street that ends at the park and only goes to downtown. And he tore the whole thing up.
It's so funny, too, because in some respects, this road doesn't need 2 lanes on either side. Because it's not trafficked enough.
Right.
Like, it is a pretty lightly trafficked street for how large it is.
Well, yeah, especially here because it ends right there.
Right, yeah. At least, down here. I don't know about closer to downtown, but...
Well, it goes into, it goes right into downtown.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's gonna be more, like it's not much residential when it gets into there, so...
That's why you go to the suburbs. You don't want to be near all the other stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, Tim, I'm with you. I'm a middle of everything guy. I've always wanted to live as close to downtown as possible. But the problem is in a lot of cities, downtown is not bustling anymore, right? Downtown's dead after 5 o'clock in a lot of cities. They've started to redo that across the states, though. Like Phoenix now has like one of the big stadiums. 2 of the big stadiums are downtown. So the baseball and basketball stadiums are down there. I want to say nightclubs. That's not the case. Bars, restaurants.
It's very much an arts and entertainment.
Yeah, arts and entertainment district downtown now. So there is an after hours, aspect to it. Lots of people moving back down there in homes and stuff. So
yeah, you just got to make it so that there's enough stuff to do. Right?
They've tried. I mean, it's been an ongoing thing to try and revitalize downtown Phoenix, starting probably late 90s.
Oh wow!
They had this whole thing. Well. No, before that, maybe early 90s, because they built the Arizona Center, and that was definitely before I turned 21, because I was excited to go there when I turned 21. And it's just a big center with like shopping and restaurants and bars and a movie theater, and it was great when it opened, and now it's like you don't really want to go there.
Tell Fuse I'm going to do a base of blue, black, and highlight with Payne's gray. See if he passes the test. See if who passes the test. Because it was definitely a Tell Fuse I'm going to do a base of blue, black.
So earlier, Despon was asking what color he should paint.
Some Space Marines.
Yeah. The cloth part, right?
The tabards.
Yeah. And said that they were royal purple. And so we were talking about it, and then we looked at them on Discord, and they looked a little bit more plum. Yeah.
It was like
so
Jordan
suggested Payne's gray, and Despon said, okay, I'll paint them blue, black, and highlight with Payne's gray.
I don't understand though. He's saying, see if I pass the test.
I don't know.
What test? because it was definitely I don't understand. Despon, you lost me.
Oh, they might be talking about.
It was backwards.
So I
think Payne's Gray would go first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Payne's Gray is darker than
Blue Black. They may both be of similar values, close enough that they wouldn't be good highlights for one another either way. But Blue Black is a little more desaturated, so it would probably show better if you painted it over Payne's Gray. But those aren't two colors that I would put together. Those are very similar. They're just different hues of the same type of paint, right? And when I say same type of paint, I mean like I would reach for them to do the same job. Agu, that sucks. I can't imagine like walking everywhere and then not being able to walk everywhere, right? For whatever reason.
Ugh, yeah.
Wide streets and lots of lanes, probably still not enough if you ask Californian people. Depends on where you are, right? Yeah, because you've got old, like as you go back east, or you get into the older metropolitan areas across the states, you don't have the ability to increase the infrastructure, the road infrastructure, to handle the influx of people. We have a big problem in the United States of overbuilding infrastructure. So, and I think that's true of all over the world, though. I can't say we have it in the streets. If you go to like old world Europe, they've overbuilt beyond the ability for the streets to handle it. They just don't have the same amount of road traffic, right? So not every household has everybody in the household owning a car everywhere in Europe. Here, because of the distances traveled and because of just ego and ownership, everybody has to have a car, and so you just can't handle the flood of cars. Carpooling just isn't a thing here. I mean, I think that it's probably fair to say that it's just not a thing. It was funny. I read a report years ago after I committed this sin. I bought a Prius in California. Who can guess in chat? If I told chat this story, who can guess what car I traded in for my Prius?
Oh.
I will give something away to the first person that guesses the car I traded in for my Prius. I'll give something away. I'm not going to name what it is because I don't know. But I'm gonna, Yep, Siobhan wins. So Siobhan gets a giveaway.
Chevette.
It was a Hummer.
Oh, it was a Hummer?
Yeah, I traded my Hummer in for a Prius.
That sounds like a bad
Siobhan probably knew the story.
Siobhan has didactic memory. Yeah, I traded in a Hummer for a Prius because I was commuting from Orange, California to Riverside.
Oh, gosh.
And it was a 2-hour commute in the normal lanes. And it cut it down to about an hour and a half when I could take, because half of that ride out the 90 has a HOV lane until you get to the outskirts of Riverside City proper.
Mm-hmm.
And which never made sense to me that the HOV lane stopped when you needed it most. But I bought a Prius so that I could use the HOV lane. It's the only reason I bought it.
Wait, they allow you to use the HOV lane?
If you have clean air vehicles, you can use the HOV lane. Solo,
California?
without passengers, right? And so it's part of the push to move towards more clean air vehicles. So I bought a Prius so I could use the HOV, and I read an article not too long after that was stating that they had never seen so much traffic in HOV lanes as when they enabled that, and it became that you could actually get those cars. Because for a long time you had to switch cars over to like natural gas. You had to work really hard because there weren't a lot of options before the Prius became something you could get a lot of at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
Punisher says hell of a 180.
Sandsliker, are you saying that you were looking for my face on the Space Marine on our website? We never sold that one. That was a one-off exclusive just for us. No, we never sold it. It was just one that we had gotten at LVO years ago. The booth across from us, they did scanning of your face for 3D printing. And so I got myself scanned. Jason and I both got ourselves scanned. And they sent us a whole bunch of heads.
Oh, the Gen Marine. Yeah,
the Gen Marine.
I'm having a hard time calling this.
And so a few years ago, Jason painted it up on my birthday. But it was never one that we sold.
The 91 is Satan's butthole. No, it's the feeder to Satan's butthole. I mean, Tim jokes about how Connecticut is the worst place in the world for traffic, but he hasn't spent enough time driving in LA for that to be the case.
LA
or in any of the beach cities.
Yeah.
Like if you go down Highway 1 anywhere south of LA, that's the worst traffic in the world. Trying to get anywhere within a mile of the beach is a disaster. And it's not that you just drive there to go to the beach. There's a lot of commerce that happens down, especially like Newport and Huntington. There's a lot of industry that's down towards the water. A bunch of warehouse districts and stuff. Long Beach especially. Holy hell, the Long Beach port, everything that is there is a disaster to get to.
Hairdo, who are you talking to and who are you talking about?
Are you aware that one of your employees is laying on a couch doing nothing? I'm not an employee, and I'm not on the couch.
If you're talking about Jason?
We do have couches out in the other part, and I guarantee, what time is it? 2? Nobody's laying on the couch right now. But lots of people do lay on the couch. We have a few of the girls that will just like curl up and take naps on the couches for lunch.
Yep.
Maddie 1 she's small enough that she literally can curl up like fetal position like on the love seat and looks like a cat.
And there's still room for
funny.
You could sit next to her.
Yeah.
On the love seat.
On the love seat.
On a love seat.
She's so tiny.
She's very tiny.
She curls up like a cat and falls asleep. I'm networking. Nutrimentia says, "Oh my God, Jason isn't even trying anymore."
Jason has spent his day in meetings.
That's like the YouTube clickbait titles. Blizzard isn't even trying to lie anymore.
He's
and then it just has a big greed, the word greed on it. I saw yesterday.
Which is worth. He's definitely earned a few minutes in the chair. He's only been here for like 10 minutes. Totally fine.
Yeah, you only get me for 40 minutes today. Unfortunately, my Wednesday got away from me meeting wise. And I have a meeting at 2:30 right after the stream. So.
Oh gosh, you do.
Yeah, and I have a meeting at 5 o'clock that'll go till like 8.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. My Wednesday full. Wednesday equals full. We had to take Jen's car to get her air conditioning done this morning.
Oh, maybe that's I just now got a.
So we had to take her to the Subaru dealership at 7:30.
We've been here for just over a year, Nutrimentia. Like a year and a half almost.
In this building?
Yeah.
I think Slowfuse is just resting on his laurels. He's finally ready to outsource all the painting for stream to Singapore. What made you choose Singapore? I could just outsource it all to Jordan. He's right here.
We don't need to.
Then I don't have to deal with time differences.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no shipping involved.
No customs.
I just I can literally walk into his office and say, "Build these, paint these."
Yep.
And then leave before he bitches about it. I just walk out.
Have I ever bitched about anything?
Walk out before you start bitching about stuff.
Have I? I don't think I have.
I can't let you win, so I'm going to say yes, you have. But when did y'all move to the new location? A year and a half ago? Over a year and a half ago? It was Adepticon last year.
Oh, it was Adepticon right before or right after?
During.
Oh, you guys went to Adepticon and then people were moving stuff while you were gone? Okay.
Yep.
He's not painting skills.
The new studio is phenomenal. It's amazing. I love it.
This one?
Yes.
Yeah.
The production desk for Jen. The comfy chairs.
I still
For those of us that have no painting skill, but still want to partake in the wonderful community that we have. Back in your day, brakes weren't invented yet. We just kept working until we died, then kept working until our corpses woke up again.
Hairdo, we moved your local pickup order for you.
Yeah.
So.
Bastage.
And yes.
Like you ordered something and chose local pickup and then didn't come to pick it up for like a year.
Hairdo, Hairdo says he was at the
right?
new So Hairdo says the last time I came there, you were at your new location. You've moved again already? Okay, so let me rephrase this for you. Let me correct your statement. The last time you came to Arizona and visited us was in 2021. So do the math. That wasn't that recent. Says, well, I'm sorry, I had to move across country. You had to move across country to a place that's closer to us. You moved to a place that's closer to us, Hairdo.
We've had that happen at least twice, where someone has ordered something and then moved the next day and had it shipped to their old address. Yeah. That has happened.
He's like, wait, there are 3 people yelling at me.
That's right.
Well, wait, I'm not yelling
Only
at you,
2,
Hairdo.
technically.
Are you yelling at yourself?
Yeah, he's yelling at
He's
himself.
not yelling at himself.
All right, Hairdo, I'm yelling at you too. Ah!
There, Nutrimentia makes 4. Everybody chat, yell at Hairdo.
Oh, your wife constantly.
As she should.
As she should.
As she should. Left his freaking local pickup order here for like 12 months.
Oh my gosh.
That's not an exaggeration.
Why are we all yelling at Hairdo?
Because he left his order here and we moved it.
He did a local pickup order. He's not local.
He's not local.
Let's just let you know this. He moved from like Missouri to California or something like that. He moved across country and was going to pick it up. No, I think he ordered it after he moved. He did. He ordered it after he moved. And then we moved and brought his order with us.
That's dedication.
And it sat on the shelf here for a very long time. And then I think we ended up mailing it. But it was in the old packaging. Yeah.
Nutra says the lighting on the skin kind of melts my brain, Baby J.
Melts your brain?
Which I think is a good thing.
Oh, is that a good thing? I mean, I don't want to kill people.
Ben Comets really liked your painting.
That was very kind of him to say nice things.
Chuck, it's it's new, it's sealed, so it'll last a long time. And even once it's opened, it still has a seal. So, yeah. It'll last a long time. That's why our bottles and our caps are the best.
Yeah, Heritage got paint in the old bottles. We have a lot of people that still have like the old small bottle paints. Yeah. And that was 2018.
Impending Duff, I think.
That's like 5 years old.
I have some.
The oldest bottle of Pro Acryl would be a little over 5 years old at this point.
Doesn't Ruben have one of the original
Ruben has
bottles?
One of the original special
If we're going to call that Pro Acryl, that was
That's
special
not Pro
white.
Acryl. Yeah, that was special white.
That was special white. That was what Jen and I handmade.
That was before Pro Acryl.
That was the prequel to Pro Acryl.
The blast
that was pre-acryl.
Pre-acryl?
Yeah. Pre-acryl was a one-color paint line that we made.
Pre-acryl.
It was called white. Called Special White.
Amazing.
From Pre-acryl.
From Pre-acryl.
And that was a Slow Fuse Gaming thing. We had clear bottles with white paint, green tops, and we would take a red Sharpie and draw a heart and SFG on it by hand. No label. No, don't tell anybody in the legal system this, but we just shipped paint. It's just like, hey, here, have a bottle of paint.
That's funny.
You can guess what's in it.
You can guess what's in it.
We only sold one color, so it wasn't like you didn't know what color you were getting.
Right.
It's true.
Right?
I have this vision of you in a garage, Jason, with like one of those like paint spinning things attached to like a drill.
Yeah.
With like you standing over a bucket of paint, spinning up some white by hand.
So you want to know what's funny? We sold an absolute crap ton of that paint.
Yeah.
We never made over a quart at a time.
A quart at a time?
Maybe a half gallon.
It was really small.
Really?
Small batch. Super artisanal small batch paint.
Yeah.
You never even had enough to do like a 5-gallon jug at a time?
No.
I mean, we had enough orders to do it. We never mixed it like that.
Oh, wow.
I was very afraid that the balance would get off in large quantities.
Yeah,
and so I kept it to very small batch mixing. Because I had no way to test the chemical balance of it.
Right.
You know, to do proper pH testing, you have to have a lab. And we didn't. So we were like, well, I know it's right now, so I'm just going to make it like this.
Yeah.
And that was why ultimately it was the inability to make paint properly that made us make paint properly. Mm-hmm. Because we had to find a better way because the demand for pre-acryl white, which I love that name, by the way.
Yeah.
But the demand for that white was so huge that Jen and I were like, we can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
Like it would be out of stock way more than in stock. And so we were like, we got to get machinery and we got to do this the right way. So here we are.
Turned out pretty good.
Here we are. 5 years later.
Oh my goodness.
What a bunch of sellouts. Now you're making big batches.
Yeah, we're selling out all of our paint, selling to you guys because you want it so much.
Yeah, big batches aren't enough either, turns out. So we're still having a problem. Deathspawn says, I feel like there's more waste with the twist caps. Nope. Incorrect.
Definitely not.
Incorrect. Assuming you're using them correctly, then no. The big issue is that the twist cap doesn't hide the expulsion of paint like a dropper cap does. You take like your Vallejo bottles or all your other bottles where you're putting an opaque cap over the top of the lid. Over time, you'll find that you look inside the cap and it's filled with dried paint.
Oh, yeah.
Sludge,
100%.
right? And so is the tip of the nozzle because, number one, the bottle doesn't seal. So the paint is constantly curing in the tip. So you have like Reaper even makes a little pokey tool that I think they call the paint pokey tool. It has a skull on it and a needle, and you poke the hole in the top of your paint thing to clear out all the dried paint that's inside your paint. You can't get it out.
Yeah.
I mean, you could pop the little nib off and clean it out, I guess. Yes. But it took me a while to wrap my head around it too, Death. But the twist cap is definitely the better solution.
I have never had a problem with the twist cap bottle. I have had plenty of problems with everything else.
Yeah.
Tim, are you not closing your bottles?
Yeah, that should not, in fact, be the case whatsoever.
Yeah, you've left them open longer.
Yeah, you do have to close the bottles.
Yeah. Bottles are closed.
Your hairbrush
not
is
all the
crying
time. Not if it's getting thicker.
Yeah, it shouldn't be thicker.
Yeah.
Did you take the seal out? The rubber gasket?
You have to close the bottle? What?
Yeah, Deathspawn. Close them all right now.
Yeah, the paint can get like my transparent white I have used and then left open, and I have a transparent white that comes out thicker because more of the water has evaporated out of it because God knows I left it open for however long.
Yeah.
And depending on the temperature and stuff. I mean, paint is paint. The water evaporates regardless. So cold, warm, if air can get to it, it'll evaporate. And so all you have to do is leave that twist cap a little bit open, overnight once in the right conditions, and it can evaporate enough to where it's going to feel a little bit thicker. Still good paint. And in those situations, you can put a little bit of medium in it, like a glazed wash medium, and bring it right back. So, but under normal sealed conditions, our paints last, like, I can't say forever, but they last a hell of a lot longer than anybody else's. You leave yours open because you like random dots on your clothes, walls, ceilings, and carpets.
Nope.
You're very avant-garde with your paint jobs.
I had a huge, big old chunk of black paint on my elbow. Yeah, literally on my elbow last night. I was like, "What? Why is that?"
I didn't mention it to you. You had dark color on your elbow.
Did you see it?
There was a part of the stream, and I looked over and I go, "I'm going to ask him what that paint is on his elbow for." And then I was like, "No," because he said he's going to a party.
Nutrimentia, we have
so I let you wear it to the
bold
party.
titanium, transparent, and now heavy body white.
3 whites.
3 now.
3 titanium white. Well, no, 2 titanium whites, heavy and bold titanium white, and then zinc white is transparent.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was funny. I saw it this morning.
Good wingman. I let him. Hey man, I got to make sure that my buddies get to have
James
fun even when I'm not there. He's painting with his weenus. That's so good.
Thank you, Wad Tomato.
You do not own an article of paint that does not have spots of Acryl paint on it.
It is 2:06.
It is 2:06.
Time to go. What? Yeah, I
call
got
it a day, everyone.
Jen and I have a 2:30.
Yeah.
Which is the best time to go to the dentist.
And I have.
Oh yeah, I did it. I did it, Baby J. That was me.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Jordan got he did
Watching
paint.
you leave is better from the seat, the comfy chairs. I get the full vision of it.
Paint
so downtrodden.
Some dark crimson on the arrow spots.
Oh yeah.
So I know that got done today.
Yep. I painted the arrows.
We just sat around talking most of the day today, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I did a little bit of stuff. I cleaned up the metal a bit, repainted some of it.
Just did a little on the hair.
Did a little bit on the hair. Well, I painted, most of the hair.
She's looking quite done.
Yep.
Are we about to call her done?
She's very close. It's like this, the little like metal bits on her thingamabob. Clean up the base, get all the edges cleaned up. Do some glazes on the feathers on that, and then do a little bit of work here on the face on the snake, and then we're done.
What's the ETA on testimonial commercials? What do you mean?
We'll run them in. They're called evergreen ads. So we ran them until the don't eat the paint stuff started happening, and then you'll probably see them again fourth quarter.
Are they not running now?
Right now, no.
Not
Nutra.
running.
You only saw one? Yeah, they were all out.
Yeah, there were multiple versions of it. 'Cause we didn't put everybody's in one. We had to split them up.
Yeah, it was too long to do all of them in one, so you will notice that the 3 commercials all start differently. There's one duplicate. I think it's the zombie one.
Do you see our Don't Eat the Paint ads? Are you somehow not in one of the targeted groups? Maybe you didn't see it? No, they're on Facebook and Instagram.
Omicron Samurai right at the end.
Hi.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, bye.
Well, good. Your dog has a more refined palate than a lot of people, Siobhan.
Goodness gracious, Siobhan. You and your dog.
All right, gang, we're out of here.
We're out of here.
Okay.
We're leaving.
Oh, wait, hold on.
We got some links Jen's going to throw up
Hang
for
on.
you guys to our store. Our
Jen's like, wait,
FLGS
keyboard.
link,
This
our
mouse,
Discord link.
I'm so glad that batteries arrived for my
Yes.
wireless mouse, because this one makes me want to rip
Yeah,
my
it's
hair
pretty
out.
bad over there. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today.
You don't like a corded mouse?
It's very short.
It's about this long.
There's not a lot of distance to be able to move.
You
the
can't
mouse
do
around.
anything with it. I'm way up here with it. Very annoying.
It's not great.
I'm like, every day. That's my only complaint about this spot.
It's not great, but we have solved the problem.
But I got wireless keyboard and mouse and batteries, so we're all set for tomorrow.
Alrighty, everyone. Don't forget, we stream 5 days a week. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we stream from 12 to 2, like today. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we stream from 2 to 5.
2 to 5.
So make sure to click the follow button, follow us, and hang out with us when we come stream tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
Have a wonderful evening. Show some love in the stream we wind up rating, and we will catch you on the flip side.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
See you all on the flippity flop side.